For thousands of years, people have been using drawings to tell stories. Even now, lecturers use a marker and a whiteboard to explain complex ideas to students. When an animated video is created from sketches, the message becomes clearer and more engaging. This is how whiteboard animation works. What is whiteboard animation? A whiteboard animation video is an animated film that is created directly in front of the viewer. It is one of the explainer video types. The recipient of a whiteboard animation film sees subsequent pictures appearing and engages in a story told by a narrator. The story can be about new company products, methods of implementation of its strategy, or more mundane things, such as manuals. Thanks to an appropriate construction of the script, the narrator's acting, and, obviously, drawings, the film draws attention and remains in the viewer's memory for a long time. That is why videos such as whiteboard animation, also called video scribe, are widely used in marketing and internal communications. Where can you find the whiteboard animation useful? Here are the most popular examples. Product explanation. The most cited whiteboard animation in the history of the format is Dropbox's explainer video. Its significance is so great because by explaining the innovative product, in a very understandable manner, the site's conversion grew by over 3%. That was an extremely important step for the whole company. That's because their website was the main channel for the acquisition of new customers. The financial impact estimations vary depending on the source. Most of the sources state that the conversion boost, stimulated by the video, increased Dropbox's revenue by $10 to $20 million. Service explanation. Another popular example is Twitter's video. The animation about the new social platform has been watched over 10 million times. And what's more important, it made really clear why Twitter is something different from Facebook, and what are the benefits of using the new service. As journalists got the idea behind the service, it was much easier to create the buzz. And after so many years, it turns out that journalists liked it a lot, and have chosen Twitter as their main social platform of communication. Presentation of the marketing strategy. Whiteboard animation is also used by Fortune 500 companies. Coca-Cola's Vice President, Jonathan Mildenhall, now CMO in 21st Century Brand, used 17 minutes long whiteboard animation to present step-by-step the new content strategy. Animation has been distributed among both companies' business partners and clients. Everyone has received the same, consistent message. It enabled the company to overcome the Chinese whispers game, which often starts when the strategy is communicated from the top management to employees. Startup pitch. As the animation conveys a lot of information in a very short time, it comes in handy to startups as well. Pitch is a key moment for a startup. Several minutes of presentation may determine the company's future, especially when the company has reached the finals of a contest, with the main prize of $1 million. But why is it more engaging than the plain PowerPoint or a talking head video? Whiteboard animation effectively maintains the viewer's attention. Nowadays, many stimuli compete to draw the client's attention. In the case of whiteboards, simple pictures appear one by one, without burdening the recipient's attentional resources. The script's content is selected in such a way that the storyline goes smoothly. The whole is read by a narrator whose voice supports the process of maintaining the viewer's attention. Thanks to that, whiteboard movies allow for the smooth acquisition of new knowledge on a product, service, or project. According to some people, another advantage of whiteboard animation creations over popular talking heads videos is the fact that they are less burdensome to our brains. A substantial part of the brain is responsible for facial recognition and analysis of facial expressions. The determination of whether our interlocutor is friendly, and which emotions is he or she experiencing, is carried out on an ongoing basis during our everyday contacts with other people. However, in the case of films with talking heads, this results in the fact that we focus on the speaker, not on what he or she is saying. In the case of whiteboard films, this issue is non-existent as we see only pictures that complement the verbal message. Whiteboard animation improves memorization. In what way do whiteboard films positively influence fact memorization abilities? One of the most famous psychologists in the world, Professor Richard Wiseman, conducted a study in which he showed two types of films to 1,000 people. In one of them, he presented information as a talking head. In the second one, he used only a voiced-over whiteboard animation. The study showed that the majority of participants preferred to watch the animated film, and were more willing to share it with their friends. What was especially interesting was the fact that persons watching the whiteboard animation video remembered 15% more information than those who watched a standard one. In the view of the current knowledge on memorizing, this is a spectacular result. Animated films engage the viewers and make them laugh. Where do those differences in the results come from? According to Professor Wiseman, the secret is the ability to draw and maintain the viewer's attention. It is commonly known that after a boring lecture, students come back home remembering nothing. In order for them to remember the class's content, they have to get interested in the subject first. Interesting and clear visualizations can help in achieving that. That is because they give the viewers the aha moment, thanks to which they feel that a complicated subject has just become comprehensible. This feeling is very pleasant. We sometimes experience it at work, when a long presentation is summed up with a clear diagram, scheme, or metaphor. According to Wiseman, humoristic presentation is very important as the human brain works much more efficiently when we are in a good mood. This is when it is stimulated to take up creative and scientific challenges. A well-made animated film is also more engaging than a PowerPoint presentation, or a uniform text in a PDF file. It allows us to engage persons who would never read an author or a long article carefully into our story. Remembering without noticing. In addition, by watching a funny animated film, we do not have to be aware that we are learning something.
The myth that is the knowledge economy.
A film
Many,
stimulates
including
the area
myself,
of the brain
argue that
responsible
we're
for the
living
so-called
in a
viewer
knowledge
anticipation,
economy.
which functions
But we're
in a
not.
similar way as
At
when
least
watching a street
not
artist
yet.
drawing live.
Knowledge has always been
audience
a
tries
key
to guess what is
component
going
in
to
any
happen next.
successful and
The
sustainable
same
business
happens when you are
model.
watching an
The
appropriately
experience in
constructed
growing
whiteboard
crops or
animation
raising
video.
cattle, the science
If
and
the script
skills
is
in
well
drilling for
constructed,
oil
we
or
activate
mining
the
ore,
so-called deep
the
processing.
creativity in designing
Information
consumer
received in this mode
products
of
or
processing
adverts
has a
aimed
positive
at
effect on
specific market
memorizing
segments.
abilities.
But today,
But for how
perhaps
long?
more than ever
A
before,
person processing
knowledge can be
information
the
deeply
sole
remembers
driver
them
of a
as well as
business
a person
activity.
learning it
The
intentionally.
likes of
That
Amazon,
is, by
Google,
repeating its
Facebook
content
don't
in their mind.
manufacture anything.
Thanks to an
They
interesting
turn
storyline and
information
an
about their
appropriate structure of the
users
script,
into
the
valuable
viewer can
knowledge for
remember the story
marketers
for a
and
long time.
advertisers. Yet,
Positive
at the
feelings
same
can
time,
translate into
they
positive
generate a lot
associations
of
with the
value
brand,
to hundreds
which
of
usually
millions
plays
of
a
their
role of a
users,
character in the video.
which they simply give away for free.
Summary.
Why?
Whiteboard animation
Because it is
films are
simply
just animated
impossible
films
to determine
created
the
in front
market
of the
price
viewer.
of one search
Nowadays,
or
this form
one
of
post.
communication is used
Let's
widely
explore
by
this in more
companies and
detail.
organizations.
Knowledge, like
Its
beauty,
popularity
is in the
results
eye
from a
of the
friendly
beholder,
and simple
which
form
means
as
that
well
the
as its
value
great
of
influence
knowledge
on the
can
viewer's
only be
ability to
determined
remember the
in light
message
of the
conveyed.
context in which it is to
Although
be used.
whiteboard animation
For
still
instance,
didn't make it to the Super
learning
Bowl
to fly
ads,
a
using
plane
them can
could suit my
sometimes be
leisurely
very
interests.
beneficial.
The value